Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanadimrandasya Jnananjana Shlakaya Chakshurunmiridam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Supatantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Utapatagamanam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lidida Shri Vishakham Vidam Sya Ye Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namosude Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shabanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanja Kalpatarubhya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Budale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Seve Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistegi Mukham Karoti Vachanam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatrupata Muhammade Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram Yonda Pravishya Mama Vacham Imam Rasukam Sanjeevayati Akhila Shakti Dharasudamnam Anyam Cha Hasta Charana Shravanatvagadin Pranam Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam Jayadam Sadadur Pangur Mama Mandamadir Gadi Matsarvasya Padambujo Radhamadan Mohano Tamadi Devam Karunanidhanam Tamala Varnam Suhidavadaram Apara Samsara Samudra Sedum Vaja Mahe Bhagavata Surupam Paramananda Pathaya Prema Varshi Aksharayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Sri Krishnaya Namostume Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadare Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Hare Krishna Hari Om Tat Sat. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, the Amala Purana, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 2, Purport. So the impersonal aspect of the absolute truth is not the highest. Above the impersonal feature is the Paramatma feature, and above this is the personal feature of the absolute truth or Bhagavan. So as we all know that there are three aspects for the absolute truth: Brahma, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Brahmedi, Paramatmedi, Bhagavan iti Sabdyade. These are the three features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, of which Bhagavan is the ultimate. Brahman is one aspect, okay, that is just Sat only, and Paramatma, Chit, that means Sat and Chit, and Bhagavan, Sat Chit Ananda. Okay, so Bhagavan has all the three features, Sat Chit Ananda. Srimad Bhagavatam gives information about the absolute truth in his personal feature. Most of the Upanishads, Vedas are describing the absolute truth as impersonal Brahman. But Srimad Bhagavatam gives us the Bhagavan aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the personal feature. It is higher than impersonal literature and higher than the Jnana Kanda division of the Vedas. So the Jnana Kanda portion of the Vedas describes the absolute truth as impersonal Brahman. But only Srimad Bhagavatam gives a vivid description of the Supreme Absolute Truth as Bhagavan. It is even higher than the Karma Kanda division and even higher than the Upasana Kanda division, because it recommends the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. So it is higher than the Mayavada philosophy or the impersonal feature, it is higher than the Jnana Kanda, and it is higher than the Upasana Kanda division. So, Srimad Bhagavatam describes the Supreme Absolute Truth as Bhagavan. That is the highest knowledge it gives us, higher than the Brahmavadis, the Jnanavadis, and the Upasanas. So Lord Sri Krishna, yes.
What is this Upasana Kanda?
Upasana is also a form of worship, especially there are certain type of people who worship all the 5 deities. That is Vishnu, Shiva, Ganapati, Surya, and Devi. So this is the Panchopasana. It is higher than that. So Srimad Bhagavatam gives us the highest knowledge, the Bhagwan perception.
That's where all the fishermen go to get.
Okay, so you got it, Prabhuji? Upasana Kanda is basically the Panchopasana, it is referred here.
Prabhuji, which are the deities you are? Vishnu,
that
Shiva?
Is Vishnu, Shiva, Devi, Ganapati, and Surya.
Surya and Devi.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are the Panchopasana. So it is higher than that. Because they think all of them are equal. That is not the right understanding. Okay. Why Bhagavatam is special? Because it recommends the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is one without a second, who is the Supreme Absolute Truth. That's why in the beginning itself, Vyasadeva addressed Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Who is Bhagavan? Vasudeva, no one else. And he is Swarat. He is totally independent. All others are dependent on Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Absolute Truth, Vasudeva. So one cannot equate Lord Shiva or Brahma or Devi or Ganapati or Surya or any other gods for that matter to Lord Sri Krishna. They're all dependent on Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Absolute Truth. So in the Karma Kanda, there is a competition to reach heavenly planets for better sense gratification, and there is similar competition in the Jnana Kanda and Upasana Kanda. So the Karma Kanda devotees, what do? They want to go to the higher planetary system within this material world for more and more sense enjoyment. Similarly, there are competition for those who are following the Jnana Kanda and Upasana Kandas. Srimad Bhagavatam is superior to all these because it aims at the supreme truth, which is the substance or the root of all categories. That's why Krishna said in the concluding chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityaja, Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Mam Ekam. It's very specifically said, only me, not anyone else. Because one should not mistake that all are equal to Lord Sri Krishna. So from Srimad Bhagavatam, one can come to know the substance as well as the categories. Substance is the absolute truth, the Supreme Lord, and all emanations are relative forms of energy. Okay. The substance is the absolute truth, Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Lord, and all emanations from that Supreme Absolute Truth are relative forms of energy. Why relative? Because all other energies emanating from the Supreme Lord are dependent on the Supreme Lord's. Okay, that's why it is relative forms of energy. Nothing is apart from the substance. Nothing is apart from the substance, means nothing is free or independent of Lord Sri Krishna. Everyone is dependent on Lord Sri Krishna. But at the same time, the energies are different from the substance. Okay, so we have to understand at the same time that the energies are different from the subject. Energetic. That is substance. Okay, so energy and energetic. Who is it? Which is superior?
Energy.
Energetic.
Energetic.
That is the source. Okay, energy is coming
energetic.
from
Okay,
the
okay, yeah,
energetic.
okay.
Okay,
Energetic is a source.
Shakti and Shaktiman. Who is superior?
Shaktiman, of course.
Shaktiman. That is the source.
Yeah.
Okay, if Shaktiman is not there, there will be no Shakti. So Shakti is a relative form of energy. Shakti is dependent on Shaktiman. Your Shakti and my Shakti differs. Okay. Your Shakti is dependent on you. My Shakti is dependent on me. Isn't it?
Yes.
So who is superior? Shaktiman, or the source of Shakti is superior.
Correct.
The powerhouse is superior or the bulb is superior?
Of course, the powerhouse.
Powerhouse. That is the place from where we get energy. Isn't it? So like that. So the supreme absolute truth is superior. He is Lord Sri Krishna, from whom everything is emanating. So nothing is apart from the substance, but at the same time, the energies are different from the substance. This conception is not contradictory. Srimad Bhagavatam explicitly promulgates this simultaneously one and different philosophy of the Vedanta Sutra, which begins with the Janmadiyasya Sutra. Janmadiyasya is the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Everything is taking birth or coming or emanating from that supreme absolute truth. Okay, so what is the philosophy that is mentioned here? Simultaneously one and different philosophy. What is that philosophy? What is the Sanskrit term for that philosophy?
Achinta Veda Veda.
Yes, Achintya Veda Aveda Tattva. This knowledge that the energy of the Lord is simultaneously one and different from the Lord is an answer to the mental speculator's attempt to establish the energy as the absolute. When this knowledge is factually understood, one sees the conceptions of monism and dualism to be imperfect. So what is the conception of monism, dualism? Can anyone explain what is monism?
Me and God is same, I think.
What is that?
Me and God is same.
Yes. All are God.
Yeah.
You are God, I am God, he is God, she is God, everyone. What is dualism?
Yes. Me and God is different.
Yeah, dualism. To be imperfect. These are, we and God are same. Monism means you are God, you are Narayana, I am Narayana. Okay. Dualism that is Dvaita. Okay. Dvaita is here, Lord is different, I am also different. But it is not perfect like Achintya Veda Aveda Tattva. It's refined to come to the understanding that we are different, but not different. So in what way we are different? We are different in quantity, but in quality we are not different. Myself, yourself, all the living entities are all Satchidananda. Okay, that is a characteristics. Satchidananda. But the difference is that in quantity, just like a gold mine and a gold particle, the quality of the gold in the gold mine and the quality of the gold in a gold particle of air or a ring is the same. But in quantity, gold mine excels. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is Vibhu, we are Anu. You got it? Monism is you and I and God all are same. Monism. You are God, I am God, everybody's spirit. Dualism is different, but not the clarity is not there. The clarity is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Achinta Bheda Abheda Tattva. Simultaneously oneness in quality but different in quantity. Is it correct?
Yes, Prabhu. But Prabhuji, this quality when we are talking about is spiritual quality we are talking about.
Yes, spiritual quality. It is a spiritual quality. Just like I told you, the quality of gold in the ring and the quality of the gold in the gold mine. It's same. But in quantity, gold mine is far, far superior in quantity. Whereas in the gold, it is only few grams. So development of, yes.
When we are talking about Prabhuji, spiritual quality, then Prabhuji, I mean, like, which are the actual qualities?
Satchidananda is spiritual quality.
Oh.
So when this knowledge is factually understood, one sees the conceptions of monism and dualism to be imperfect. Development of this transcendental consciousness, grounded in the conception of simultaneously one and different, leads one immediately to the stage of freedom from the threefold miseries. The threefold miseries are those miseries which arise from the mind and body. That is called, what is it called? Adhyatmic. Those miseries inflicted by other living entities, that is Adibhaudik. And those miseries arising from natural catastrophes over which one has no control. That is natural calamities, Adidevic. Srimad Bhagavatam begins with the surrender of the devotees unto the absolute person. Okay. It begins in the first sloka, Satyam Param Dhimahi. Surrender. Let me meditate on this supreme absolute truth. So the first verse, first it says Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And the last line, the first line is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And the last line is Satyam Param Dhimahi. So that's what it says here. So begins with the surrender of the devotee and the supreme unto the absolute person. The devotee is fully aware that he is one with the absolute and at the same time in the eternal position of servant to the absolute. So devotees, the living entities are servants and Supreme Lord is the master. So this is reference. So we can never become the masters. In the material conception, one falsely thinks himself the Lord of all his service, and therefore he is always troubled by the threefold miseries of life. But as soon as one comes to know his real position as transcendental servant, he at once becomes free from all miseries. When we understand our position as the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we live a life in accordance with that principle, then we'll be free from the miseries. As long as the living entity is trying to master material nature, there is no possibility of his becoming servant of the Supreme. So once we want to enjoy the material nature, exploit the material nature, where is the question of subordination to the Supreme Personality of Godhead? There is no question at all. Service to the Lord is rendered in pure consciousness of one's spiritual identity. By service, one is immediately freed from material encumbrances. So service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be rendered only in pure consciousness. Otherwise, it will be in mixed mode. Okay, not pure. So what is pure consciousness? One has to transcend the three modes of material nature. Come to the stage or platform of pure mode of goodness. That's what it says here. So over and above this, so any questions so far or any comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, actually not exactly related to this. I raised the hand earlier. Actually, this whatever you said, no, Achyuta Bheda, what was that?
Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. Achintya means inconceivable.
Yeah, so each and every word, what is the meaning? Achintya Veda, each word, what is the meaning?
Achintya means inconceivable. Okay. Achintya Veda means different.
Okay.
Abheda means non-different.
Okay.
Tattva means philosophy.
Okay.
Ajinta Bheda Abheda Tattva. So what is Ajantya? I mean, it is inconceivable for us to understand about this Tattva. But still, what is the Tattva? It is Veda. What is Veda means? It is different. Different in the sense, we are different with the Supreme Lord. We are not same with the Supreme Lord. We are non-different from Supreme Lord in terms of the spiritual quality, Sat Chit Ananda. Our self, our Atma is Sat, Chit and Ananda. Eternity, full of knowledge, full of bliss. And Supreme Lord is also like that. But what's the difference? The Supreme Lord is great, he is infinite, we are infinitesimal. Or in Sanskrit, he is Vibhu and we are Anu. Vibhu means great, Anu means small particle. Just like I told you, a gram in a gold mine and the
Correct.
whole gold mine, or a drop in an ocean and the whole ocean. So
Yeah,
Supreme
correct.
Lord is the ocean and we are only a drop. So that is, Veda. That is different. In quantity, it is different. He is big, we are very small and minute. But in quality, we both are same. That's why this philosophy is called Achintya, inconceivable for our material senses.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Achintya, Bheda, Abheda, Tattva. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken the principles from the other three Sambradaya, which are the other three Sambradaya? That is Ramanujacharyas, Nimbarka, Vishnu Swami, or Lakshmi Sri Sambradaya, Nimbarka Sambradaya, and Kumar Sambradaya. He has taken two principles each from these and coined this term as Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank
So over and above this, Srimad Bhagavatam is a personal commendation on the Vedanta Sutra by Sri Vyasadeva. Now, one thing we have to understand here that there is a commentary, there is a bhashya for each and every Vedanta Sutra. Okay, for Sri Bhashya is there. Ramanujacharya's Sri Sambradaya, there is a Bhashya they have written. For Shankaracharya, there is a Sharirika Bhashya. And Madhavacharya, he has written a Purna Prajna Bhashya. So, except for Vaishnavas, there was no Bhashya initially. But then there was some debate and all. Baladev Vidyabhushan, he wrote a Bhashya. That's called Govinda Bhashya. So why they did not write in the initial stage? Because it was not necessary. Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary for the Vedanta Sutra. So the Vaishnavas believed and thought that it is not necessary to write a separate Bhashya when Srimad Bhagavatam itself is a Bhashya for the Vedanta Sutra. But then there was a dispute, and there was an argument between the Ramanandis and the Vaishnavas to establish that Baladev Vidyabhushan was asked to write a Bhashya, which he wrote in Jaipur in front of Govinda Devji. Govinda Devji dictated this Bhashya, and that's why it is called Govinda Bhashya. So what is our Bhashya? Vaishnava's Bhashya. Gaudiya Vaishnava's Bhashya is Govinda.
Govinda.
So he is the author of all other Vedic literatures, yet he recommends the study of Srimad Bhagavatam above all others. Although Vyasadeva, Srila Vyasadeva is combining all the Vedic literatures, but he only recommends to study Srimad Bhagavatam above all. In other Puranas, there are different methods set forth by which one can worship the demigods. Okay, there are different Puranas in which different types of worships are also recommended for slow and gradual advancement. But in the Bhagavatam, only the Supreme Lord is mentioned. In Bhagavatam, what is recommended? Only the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, is mentioned and to be worshipped. Supreme Lord is the total body, and the demigods are the different parts of the body. As we all know, demigods are different parts of his body. They are not independent. Consequently, by worshipping the Supreme Lord, one does not need to worship the demigod, because when we worship the whole body, everything is included. It is not necessary to worship separately the hand, the leg, the nose, the eye, all these parts, different parts, which are supposed to be the demigod. So when we worship the Supreme Absolute Truth, Lord Krishna, who is the personification of the whole body, it is not necessary for us to worship separate limbs of the body. The separate limbs of the body, that means demigods. So when we worship Supreme Lord, they are all included. So the Supreme Lord becomes fixed in the heart of the devotee immediately. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended the Srimad Bhagavatam as a spotless Purana and distinguishes it from all other Puranas. What is the verse which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless Purana? Can anyone say what is that verse? Mayuri Mataji, you remember? What is the verse? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirms that Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless Purana. No one knows? Jiveshri Mataji. आराध्य भगवान ब्रजेश तनयस तद्धाम वृंदावनम काचिदु रम्या कचिदुपासना ब्रजबधू वर्गेण वा कल्पिता श्रीमद्भागवतं प्रमाणममलं प्रेम पुमार्तो महान् श्रीमद्भागवतं प्रमाणममलं. What it says? Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam, Amala Praman. Amala means not contaminated, pure. And Prema Pumarto Mahan, which is the highest. Prema Pumarto. We have learned earlier Purushartha. What are those Purushartha?
Dharma,
Artha, Kama, Moksha. Beyond that, above that, Prema, that is the
Krishna Prema.
highest. Krishna Prema. That is Mahan, great. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatradara Napara. So, whose opinion is this? Whose Mati is this? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is highest. So, Aradhya Bhagwan, who is Aradhya Bhagwan? Rajesa Tanayas. Rajesa Tanayas, who is Rajesa Tanayas?
Nanda Putra.
Nanda Maharaj's son.
Nanda
And
Maharaj.
which is the Param Dhama? Tadhama Vrindavana.
Goloka Vrindavan.
And who is the topmost Upasak or devotees? Ramya Kachit Upasana Brajavadhu Vargena Vakalpina. The topmost devotees are Brajavadhu. Okay. And which is the best scripture? Srimad Bhagavatam. That is from Pramanam Amalam. And which is the highest Panchama Purushartha? Prema. Krishna Prema. Whose opinion is this? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's opinion. So that is what is said here. Okay. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended the Srimad Bhagavatam as the spotless Purana and distinguishes it from all other Puranas. So the proper method for receiving this transcendental message is to hear it submissively. Submissively. Not that, just for the sake of reading, you keep reading. No. You have to, Srila Prabhupada says, all his books should be studied scrutinizingly. We are not reading novels or stories. Isn't it? So we have to hear this submissively, study it scrutinizingly. A challenging attitude cannot help one realize this transcendental message. And we should not read or study this in a challenging mood, to find some faults in that, to find some controversies in that, to find some mistakes in that. It's not our purpose. One particular word is used herein for proper guidance. The word is sushrushu. One must be anxious to hear this transcendental message, sushrushu. The desire to sincerely hear is the first qualification. So what's the first qualification? The desire to sincerely hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Less fortunate persons are not at all interested in hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? In Srimad Bhagavatam, it's also said in the first chapter itself. What is that? Prayena alpayusha sabhya kalo asmin yuge janaha mandaha sumandamadayo mandabhagya vidarada. Unfortunate people. So we're all in the age of Kali. One of the characteristics of people in the age of Kali is they are unfortunate. That's why it is said, unfortunate people find enough time to hear idle social and political conversation, but not Srimad Bhagavatam, not Bhagavad Gita, not Ramayana, not any other scriptures. So that is our unfortunate situation. We are engaged in all mundane activities. We are reading newspaper, we are reading magazine, we are reading novels, stories, and whatnot. But we don't have time to read Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is our unfortunate situation. But when invited to attend a meeting of devotees to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, they suddenly become reluctant. We have time for anything and everything except for reading and hearing matters related to scriptures. Sometimes professional readers of the Bhagavatam immediately plunge into the confidential topics of the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, which they seemingly interpret as sex literature. Because the conjugal pastimes of the Supreme Personality Godhead and his devotees, the gopis, are there in the 10th canto. Some of them take it as very sweetly. They don't know these are all transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Okay? They take this very lightly and interpret it as sex literature, just like what is happening in the mundane material world between boys and girls. No, that is a great offense if you think that. Srimad Bhagavatam is meant to be heard from the beginning. Why we should not think that way? Can anyone give some example, some reason why we should not take this relationship of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna with his pure devotees, gopis, as the love affair of the mundane world between man and woman or boy and girl? Why we should not treat or we should not think that way?
Because Prabhuji, it is at spiritual platform and beyond the general view or material perspective.
Yes, right. That is spiritual platform, and ours is totally material platform. People doesn't know that. That is transcendental. That's a pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is perfect. Whatever he is doing is not for his sense identification. But then can you please substantiate that by giving some great personalities example? Even they relish. If it was something mundane, will they relish? Who is the right example? Can you quote? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a renunciant. He had a family, he had wife. Okay, the first wife left the body, then he married another, and immediately after marriage, immediately after a few months of the marriage, he left that beautiful wife and relationship, and he renounced everything. And now he's enjoying Srimad Bhagavatam 10 Canto, the relationship between the Supreme Lord and the gopis. So if this was mundane, will he enjoy this?
No.
A sannyasi, a total renunciant, who has nothing to do with such topic, he is enjoying, relishing the pastimes between Lord Sri Krishna and the gopis. So from that we can understand these are not mundane, material affairs between men and women or boys and girls. So it totally transcendental. Otherwise, a sannyasi wouldn't have taken interest in listening to the pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna with the intimate friends, conjugal love with the gopis. Would he? No, absolutely not. So from this we can understand that this is beyond our logical understanding. Being a sannyasi, he will be never interested in this. Grahastha, yes, it is possible. Okay, Grahastha can. But he's a sannyasi. How will he relish if it was mundane? Isn't it? Not only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all other acharyas who are in the renounced order, they're all relishing these pastimes. So from this we can understand that there are not ordinary mundane subject matters of the material world. So Srimad Bhagavatam is meant to be heard from the beginning. One should not jump into the 10th canto and start reading from 10th canto. We should gradually go from first canto, second, third, fourth, like that. We should progress. We should not jump into 10th canto. Some people, this is very nice, Rasa Leela between Lord Krishna and the gopis. So let us enjoy that. No, that's very, very bad. It's not the right way of approaching Srimad Bhagavatam. We should, up to 9th canto, we should know the greatness of Lord Sri Krishna. Then only we will, understand in the right perspective these pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna with the devotees. Otherwise, we'll misinterpret. So one becomes, so those who are fit to assimilate this birth are mentioned in this sloka. One becomes qualified to hear Srimad Bhagavatam after many pious deeds. So when will we become qualified? After doing many pious deeds. The intelligent person with thoughtful discretion can be assured by the great sage Vyasadeva that he can realize the Supreme Personality directly by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, without undergoing the different stages of realization set forth in the Vedas. One can be lifted immediately to the position of Paramahamsa simply by agreeing to receive this message. So simply by understanding the Srimad Bhagavatam in its right perspective, okay, in the right manner, from the right source, we can be immediately lifted to the position of Paramahamsa. So it is not necessary for us to go through the gradual study of Vedas. Okay. It's not necessary for us to go through the gradual study of Vedas. Different stages of realization set forth in the Vedas. It's not necessary. If we can really understand Srimad Bhagavatam in its right perspective, and if we can hear it from the authoritative sources, then that will purify us, and that will bring us to the stage of Paramahamsa, and we can get out of the material existence. That's what this particular verse says, okay, Dharma Projita Kaidavatro Paramo Nirmatsaranam Sadam. It's a beautiful sloka. So any questions or any comments? So I'll take this sloka next week. Next week I will start. So we can have some question and answer session for another 10 minutes. Okay. Great Krishna. So any questions or any comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, in the that explanation, the last line to the position of Paramhansa, that last line, can you explain?
Okay. What is Paramahamsa? You know Hans.
Yes.
Swan?
Swan.
What is the specialty of swan? If you mix water and milk, it takes only milk. It will leave
Milk.
the essence, the milk, the best part of it. It will leave the water. Similarly, Paramahamsas means the saintly personalities, they are in this material world. They will neglect all the bad things. They will take only the essence, the good things.
Okay.
Just like how a swan is segregating the milk from the water and leaving the water.
What?
Okay. Similarly, the devotees of Supreme Personality of Godhead who are saintly are called Paramahamsa because they will take only the essence, only the good part of it. Rest they will just neglect. They will not even turn and look towards that. They will neglect. They will ignore. So they are called Paramahamsas. All our Babajis, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, all are Paramahamsas. All the Babajis,
All.
Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. These are all Paramahamsas. They are not ordinary people.
Mm.
They are in this material world, but they are not of this material world. We are in this material world, we are of this material world. That is the difference.
Mm.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Bharat Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Just came?
Yes, Prabhu.
No problem. So we have just finished that second verse. So we were just discussing about the, if there is any questions. Madaji was asking about what is the word meaning of Paramahamsa. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, you must have heard. All our saintly personalities, Acharyas, they're all on that platform of Paramahamsa. Any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Madaji.
Yesterday, His Holiness that
Kadamba
Kadamba
Kanasam. Yeah.
Maharaj left this material. Please tell about him, Prabhu,
Yeah.
something.
So, Kadamba Kanaswami Maharaj is also a very saintly personality. He is one of the Guru Janas. He is not directly the disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He joined the movement in 1978 after Prabhupada's departure. He is a disciple of one of the senior most disciples of Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Advaita Swami Maharaj. He hardly has few disciples, 4 or 5. He did not accept many disciples. And one of the disciples is Kadamba Kananda Swami Maharaj. And Kadamba Kananda Swami Maharaj has hundreds of disciples. Okay. So see the good part of it. He, about almost a year back, something, or year and a half or 2 years max, was diagnosed with cancer, and he was in the 4th stage of cancer. So he wanted to leave his body in Vrindavan. So he left everything and came to Vrindavan to leave his body, almost maybe 6 months plus. Okay, his life was short. He knew it, but he was fearless. He accepted it, And he wanted to be a model for others how to live body fearlessly. So his spiritual masters, Jayadeva Swami Maharaj, also decided that he will stay with his disciple in Vrindavan, seeing his departure. So he also stayed, and for the last 2+ weeks, almost 3 weeks, he thought that I'm going to leave the body. Now I'll stop consumption of food. So he was only on water. He stopped all solid foods for the last almost 3 weeks. So yesterday was the day. Okay, he left the body, and one I just read somewhere who else yesterday left the. I mean, some Acharya.
From
Who was
Maharashtra, Prabhuji.
Who is that?
I forget the name also.
What
He
is it?
left the body also 12 o'clock, Prabhuji, same
Yeah,
time.
yeah. 12 o'clock. I forgot. I read that WhatsApp message. I forgot his name. Anyway, you can check that and tell me. So he was a good Kirtaniya. No, he was the commander or the president of ISKCON Vrindavan for some time, and there was some attack on him. Some bullet was shot, and he was, he was also injured. But nevertheless, he was determined to serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Stood there, he served ISKCON, Vrindavana, and other devotees. We are fearless as a commander-in-chief. He served Srila Prabhupada's mission, and he was attacked with typhoid and pneumonia and so many problems in the management. That, especially in the olden days, in Vrindavana, people were a bit, envious of the foreigners. Why foreigners are coming and, doing so much of activity, taking name and fame. So that was the reason some problem took place. So anyway, he overcome all those, but he continues. This thing is a very good, realized Acharya, then our Gurujana, initiating spiritual master.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Tukaram.
Tukaram, yes, Sant Tukaram. Sant Tukaram also left, on the same day at 12 o'clock, like that. So he is, I think he is from which country? Sweden? I think maybe some European country. Sweden. He was even before joining Hare Krishna, he was a musician. It's good stamina, hours together he sings, enthusiastically sings. And in Avadari days, we are also fortunate to host him so many times. He came to Avadari days. So we had good opportunity to associate with him. Even when recently, when we went to Vrindavan, we saw him. We could not talk to him, but we saw him. We got his blessings. So like that.